I'm Jessica Thompson. I started working out with Sunny 3 years ago in August. I really started working out because I needed to put some consistency in my life. I hated the gym, and that's hated with a capital H. Never could really work how physical activity worked into my life. I joke all the time that I hated to go outside as a kid, even when I was 9, 10, 11. I just never liked sweating. I never liked it. But I knew as I was approaching 30 that I really wanted to take control a little bit of my health and just kind of get physical activity to be part of my life. And Sunny really changed that part of my life for me. Okay, so when I started with Sunny, pregnancy was on the forefront. I had just gotten married in January. We started in August, and I knew I wanted a kid. But really I knew I needed to figure out how to be a little bit healthier as myself first. And so I worked out with Sunny for a year and a half before I started, I'm going to say, my pregnancy journey. What do I need to do? How do I do it?
Yes.
When I was doing that, it was really just kind of setting up the base of how to be in the gym 3 times a week, incorporate walking, just kind of getting that stuff together for myself. And then my husband and I started trying to have a baby. It happened very quickly, and we were very lucky in that sense. I continued to work out through that, but then unfortunately I had a miscarriage, and there was a lot of anxiety about, did physical activity play into that? And of course, I have a PhD, I love research, and so I looked into that. No, there's no data to support that if you were physically active before, you should not be physically active during, early pregnancy, whenever. Do what you were doing before. It did kind of add like an extra layer of anxiety for me in the beginning. But I wanted to bring that up because then I got pregnant again, and my pregnancy, I continued to work out. We didn't change. We did stop trying to get my PRs, if you will. But, we continued to do almost everything as far as we could, especially in the beginning when, there's no really restrictions on what you can do. My pregnancy was probably a textbook beautiful pregnancy. I continued to work out 3 times a week up until I was 38 weeks pregnant. Sometimes I knew I would be more tired, and I would let Sunny know, hey, I just am exhausted today. We would work on mobility, and I think that made all the difference in my pregnancy attitude and how I felt during pregnancy. Being active, giving yourself 30 minutes 3 times a week for yourself. You're so caught up in preparing your life and your body and everything else for baby, you really need to take time for yourself as well, and that was what the gym also did for me. And it was a time, I joke with Sunny that she is also a part-time therapist, and so that's another aspect, that being somewhere for 30 minutes with someone during this really vulnerable time also contributes. And then when it was time to give birth, I won't go into that because I hate labor. I thought it was disgusting, but I did get a baby out of it, so that was really awesome. But it was really good. I had a really smooth labor, and I have nothing really database to back that up, except I really do believe that staying active for all 9 months that I was pregnant really contributed to that. The day after I gave birth, I really felt like I jumped out of bed and I was ready to, walk again. And my body wasn't sore because it was used to doing hard things. I didn't stop doing that. And then, it was kind of funny. I never ever thought I'd be someone who would be like, when my 6 weeks was up, because you have to wait 6 weeks after you have a baby, I was dying to go to the gym. You would never have heard that come out of my mouth 4 years ago. I really picked right back up, and I was excited. And it was funny because I could do the things that I couldn't do in my 3rd trimester, like balance. And, I hate jumping, but, I could jump a lot better. So all that to say, physical activity is super important in your pregnancy. I think it's important to work with someone who you can talk to and be like, hey, today's not my day, because pregnancy is definitely full of hills and valleys where you feel great and then you feel like crap. And working one-on-one with a trainer like Sunny really helped to kind of navigate that journey. And so I just feel really blessed, and now my baby is 16 weeks and I feel stronger than ever. I don't think it's about weight, but I literally bounced back, you know, pre-pregnancy weight very quickly, and I felt good about it. And so I think that all of that has to do with working with Sunny and training and staying active. Here's what I'll say. I think to make physical activity, and I even hesitate to say working out, because I think what's more important, to say you hated the gym, so many people hate the gym for so many reasons. I really just hated physical activity in general. I didn't want to hike, I didn't want to do anything. And I knew that, you know, I needed accountability, one, and that is what Sunny and offers, is, and what that's very one small aspect, but that's definitely an aspect of having a personal trainer that like Sunny, is definitely the accountability. But I think it's also a mindset. You know, for me in the very beginning, I had to go, I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna give myself 8 weeks, and if I hate it after 8 weeks, then I'll reevaluate. And I never got to that point. You know, Sunny is very personable. She made the gym not feel so intimidating. And something that I think is really hard that you just don't get if you're trying to incorporate physical activity on your own is this whole idea of the people on Instagram, the people on TikTok that show you, hey, here's a 30-minute workout, and you can't get through the first 10 seconds because you're just not physically fit enough to do that. It's really disheartening. And so when you work one-on-one, when you work with Sunny, you are like, okay, here's a 10 minutes, here's 10 reps I can do, you know, the modifications, the one-on-one. It helps you build confidence in yourself. Confidence isn't necessarily something I struggle with on the day-to-day, but it's definitely something that, like, when I don't feel comfortable doing something, I don't want to do it. And so, you know, it was becoming comfortable in the gym. It was becoming, you know, accountable for myself to make this, and then making it fun in many aspects. It's definitely a mindset. It is absolutely, for me, it wasn't about building habits and things like that. It was a mindset of, you don't have to hate the gym. You don't have to hate physical activity. It can make you feel good, and I'll never be someone, I don't think, that's like, oh my God, I have to go run. Like, I do not work out on vacation. I'm not that person even 3 years later. But I'm not afraid to go, oh, let's walk on the beach for 2 miles. And so those little changes, you know, I think they, one, make a big difference for your health as a nurse. I think that just doing those little things can really change your health. But it's really a mindset, and it's definitely changed my mindset. I think a lot of us do, especially a millennial. I'm 31 now, unfortunately. You know, we pop ibuprofen a little bit like it's candy, you know, and that's not necessarily good. It's fine, you know, to take ibuprofen when you need it, for sure. But I was taking it 3 to 4 times a week for a headache, for my knees hurting, for my ankles hurting, my body didn't feel good. When you start working out, especially when you start working out with a trainer like Sunny, your body gets sore, and you want to take more ibuprofen. And I'm not gonna lie, I probably took ibuprofen probably every day after training for a couple weeks. But then, and Sunny kept saying it, you know, it's gonna get better, you're gonna get less sore, you're gonna get less sore, you're not gonna be so crawling up the stairs because your quads hurt, your hamstrings hurt. And one day, magically, it happened. It was true. Like, you do get less sore. And then, you know, in a matter of months, you start to realize my body feels better. Your muscles are caring for your joints more because they're stronger. And so the achy knees, the achy shoulders, it kind of disappears because your body is able to, I'm going to say, quote unquote, hold itself. It's able to care for itself. It's able to do what it's supposed to do because there is strength there behind it. And I think it's really important too for those of us who are in our younger days, you know, younger-ish, and who haven't incorporated physical activity before. You know, it was important for me to do that when I did it, because as you get older, that's even harder. You already develop bad habits. Your knees are already hurting. You're going to develop early arthritis, just things like that. So incorporating that sooner, earlier, and you stop taking ibuprofen because you don't hurt, and that's really nice. And when I take ibuprofen now, I'm not gonna lie, it's probably for a hangover, not for being sore. I was taking walks, so I had a baby March 24th. We went home March 27th with a healthy baby boy, and I was taking walks around the neighborhood on March 28th. And so while that's not working out, I consider that physical activity. I consider that part of this physical health journey. I think that's a crucial part that I want to implement more in my life, and I continue to do so. And so I started walking, and we walked every day that it wasn't freezing or raining. And so I would say, I started doing that, and it was easy. And I'm not going to say that everybody's journey, it doesn't matter if you work out every day. I know that there are women who don't experience that great, bounce back. But for those of us who have, invested in ourselves with, trainers and with physical activity, I do believe that contributed. So as far as starting to work out again, you have to be cleared by your physician, and you can't do that until 6 weeks. I had an appointment on the 6th week of, the 6th Thursday after I gave birth, and I came back the next Monday. And when I say I was ready to bounce back, I really was. And for new mothers, I think one of the biggest things is, I was able to bring my baby to the gym, and because there's a lot of us who, and most of us, do not have 24/7 help at our house. And that is a great excuse to not go to the gym, to not incorporate that in your life. But I think that's one thing that Sunny really pushes is, no, like, you can bring your child to the gym, if you're safe and you're being a responsible parent, and that's okay. We're gonna work around that. If your baby cries, then we'll work out with your baby in your arms. I'll hold your baby. Things like that, not letting not having childcare be a barrier is huge. So that's one aspect. I could bring him when my husband wasn't working, when I didn't have my mom to help. I brought him to the gym, and especially when they're little, they're really easy. They just sleep, right? But it also just was, again, 30 minutes for me. It was 30 minutes that I was prioritizing my mental health, my physical health, and 30 minutes for me to go, this is my time to focus and get, centered. And every single time I left, I felt better. I felt clear. I think any new mom will tell you, you have newborn fog, you have mom brain. I had never really thought about it, but it was the truest statement, and it was definitely hard for me as someone who would consider themselves very productive. And the gym, I think, really helped me snap back a little bit quicker and clear that fog and really be able to focus on myself, focus on my baby, and give back to doing the things that I love.
First started doing interviews and then had to cut out like the whole video. Okay, Jess, you're good.